And God replicates himself, or yes, throughout the universe, throughout the multiverses. Okay. The source of all things doesn't even exist in our solar system, in our universe, because the source of all things has its own universe. So think about the spectrum of that, the magnitude of, and the length, and it is so out of this world. Literally, this is cosmic consciousness, y'all. This is what I want to talk about. This transcends, this expands us, because we can look at things from a whole. So cosmic consciousness, imagine this now. You've got the source of all things projecting itself through multiverses, like multiple verses here. Okay? So when it reaches our universe and our little solar system, right? This is how it shows up. This is where it begins to show up. The planets. You see it in the planetary energies. You see it in the major constellations. I like to think of the constellations as literal energy centers. Okay, these these stars that when we look in the sky, they appear so bright. I see them as large energy portals, definite energy centers. Okay, and when I hear this, right, we're talking about where these seven energies, these seven rays emanate from within our own universe and within our own solar system, right in the Great Bear solar system, right? What we're finding is that there are three constellations which are right in the proximity of, or working very closely with these seven major rays. Okay, so the Great Bear houses the seven major rays, known as the seven rishis. Okay, and then there are representatives that are in relation to their prototypes. You have the Pleiades solar system, constellation, excuse me. Where am I getting this stuff from? So there's the Pleiades constellation, which, as we know, if you don't know, the Pleiades constellation has what we call the seven sisters of Pleiades, which mythologically speaking, these were all these little girls that belonged to one of the gods, okay? And he was trying to protect them, so he kind of stuck them all into a constellation, okay? That is just my little short rundown of that story, but you can look for the sisters or the seven stars of Pleiades, the seven sisters of Pleiades, Pleiades, Pleiades. That's how you spell that. And then the last constellation is the constellation Sirius, which Sirius is like our souls, our sun, the son of, okay, let me get this right. Sirius is the soul of our sun. You got me? Okay, so we've got the soul of the sun. We've got the seven sisters, which are all representative of the seven fruits, okay, of the spirit, love, all of those major aspects and attributes that are representative, check it, of the seven rays. And we're going to go into each one individually, but this is a minor introduction so you can see where this energy literally emanates itself from, how it shows up in our solar system, thus directing us here on Earth. So I hope y'all following me so far. Listen, there are ways to get in touch with me if you want to discuss more about this, or if you want to add to the conversation. If you've got some information that maybe I have not touched, or maybe I've shared some things that seem to be a little questionable and you want to add to it, feel free. This is a community that is open and allows space for others who are learning along their journey. And I want to hear from you. So my email address is divineoccult@gmail.com. You guys can ask me any questions, anything like that. We'll air it on the show and we'll answer it on the show. So the united energies of these three constellations, they control and energize our solar system. So the Lords, now I'm reading from the book, The Seven Rays of Life by Alice Bailey. And she says, the Lords or ruling powers of these 12 sources of light and life step down the potency of the three major energies so that our solar logos can absorb them. So again, we're talking about pure power nestled in our solar system under three united, strong constellation energy packed source resource centers. Okay, these are source energy centers. That's what I call them. If I was traveling long periods of time in my spaceship and I needed to fuel up, I would head towards Sirius, the Great Bear, and the Pleiades solar system. You understand what I mean? Okay, so that I can re-energize. Does that make sense? So that is pure energy. It will work in the cosmos, but here on Earth, because we are dense beings here, right? We reside in these human bodies. We're so dense. That power is too potent for this particular level of ray energy. And in our particular realm, we are in the second ray of energy, but there are a couple of other ones attached to that as well. And as we go on, you'll understand that each one of these rays also represent different levels of consciousness, you guys. For the collective, it also is representative of the ages. I did some shows back last month. You guys can watch those archive shows. We talked about the ages of man and how the planets really are representative of the changing of the collective consciousness. And so these are connections to all of this. You understand? Like, we have this evolutionary process that helps us in our systemic life. And these three potencies, which again, I get the picture in my mind. I used to watch this show called Supernatural. I actually still do, because it's in its last season. I don't know if any Supernatural fans out there, but yeah, I'm a Supernatural fan. And so on the show, in earlier seasons, when they first introduced you to the angels, the angels would come and they would take the human bodies, but only for a while, because the human body could not fully contain all that energy. What would happen in some instances, especially if it was like a pure archangel, and archangel took over a body, like after a while, if that body was not a good enough shell, the body would start to crack, so the angel would have to leave the body. That's the picture that I get, because what happens is that energy gets so potent that the energy literally bursts the shell and cracks the whole body like into pieces. So imagine that type of potent energy being, confined in this dense reality. It would absolutely just overshine it, okay? And that's why the energy has to come through. It has enough sense to understand that through these levels, there's only but so much power that will be able to be contained or controlled or used. So we've got these three energy centers that kind of help us with that, and it gives us the better understanding of usage. Okay, we can absorb them. They tune out these different aspects of the three potencies because it's not suited to our life here, not in this particular evolutionary process. So it has to work from afar, so to speak. Now, these three major energies are mysterious in that sense, but we understand that they are projecting frequency and vibration throughout the cosmos to us in our own solar system, and they do it through these 7 rays. And within those 7 rays, you've got 3 major aspects, And remember, the seven rays emanate from the source of all things.